Yo, what's up, people? So, some early signs of the A word, OCD, that I've just noticed about myself. When my mother and my dad were together, there'll be times my mom slept on the left side, my dad slept on the right side. I would clean my mom's side of the room where I would like put her perfume. She had a lot of things. I would stack them in a neat order where they would line up with each other. She got really mad when I cleaned her room. I think I cried. I got really mad when she didn't like what I did, but I would always make sure things were straight, things were like lined up. If anything wasn't lined up, I couldn't really I couldn't just leave it where it wasn't straight. Now, after years passed, when I got really into reading books, I became a hoarder where I would like stock. I would just buy books. A lot of them I read because I read daily. But understand, I was before COVID. I was a big reader. I read every book in my room for 1 to 2 pages. I would do that obsessively before work and after work. That's all I did. Before COVID, though, I wasn't. I'm sort of trying to gain my sharpness back, but I was so sharp on a lot of things before COVID. But I was just a big hoarder. I wouldn't throw nothing away. I didn't want to throw away any newspapers, any papers, anything. I wanted to just keep everything. And that was the beginning. Like I told you, when I was cleaning my mom's room, that was sort of the beginning of like my OCD. I just noticed that it originated. It started around like 5 or 6. Um, I wasn't really obsessed with germs very much, but it was always just things had to be neat, things had to be clean. Um, I'm just trying to think about things right now. That's all cause like I told you, certain disorders they develop over time, depending on the person. You notice it very young. Um, when I was 15, I began to have bad thoughts in my head, like really bad thoughts. I would always wonder things like when I was in the 8th grade, I kept I kept obsessing over the fact that I wasn't going to graduate. Now my mom made it very clear if you weren't going to graduate, they would have already told you a few months before graduation. But I started going to church because I thought I wasn't going to graduate 8th grade, and I wound up graduating obviously. But my thoughts, my thinking pattern just became just real strange. I felt like I had some psychic ability to foresee bad things in the future. But mainly, the early signs for it was really just me being really neat with things. And let me explain it again. It was neat where I could not have things that weren't straight. Everything had to be lined up. If I had like action figures on my dresser, they all had to be lined up. If I had anything on my dresser, it had to be lined up. If I had books on my dresser, everything had to be lined up. Everything had to be neat. But I was not very, when I started reading like I do now, I became a hoarder where nothing really mattered if it was neat or not. Now it does now, but not as much because my obsession is just trying to learn every single thing in the world. And that's impossible, but that's just my obsession right now. It's like with my obsession, I sort of neglect um being clean and just being neat. And it's really hard to control because it can really take over your life depending on who you are. Now I'm clean where I don't want to get sick. I never want to get sick because I'm sensitive to a lot of medications. A lot of they're like certain medications I can't take, and that's for another video.